The Gorosei and the ancient weapons have been two of the most mysterious topics in One Piece for years. In recent chapters, we got a decent amount of information about the Gorosei, and I believe Kuma's flashback revealed the hidden truth about the 5 lost ancient weapons as well. Nothing is what it seems. In a world that's been turned upside down, what if the ones who sit atop the world are not who they claim to be? In chapter 1094, we caught our first good look at what seems to be a Gorosei's true form. Saturn's spider body and horns bring to mind an Ushioni or a Gyuki. From the silhouettes in the Cobra's flashback, it's likely that the other Gorosei are inspired by other yokai. There are many theories out there about which yokai the other Gorosei might be. This is not one of them. Who are the Gorosei really, and why are they at the top of the world? Everything is connected. In One Piece, gods and royalty have a tendency to be pretenders. We don't have to go further than Alabasta to see an example of this. Vivi pretended to be Miss Wednesday, and Igaram pretended to be Vivi. Similarly, Bon Clay pretended to be King Cobra to heighten the conflict. There is also King Riku of Dressrosa, who was manipulated and subsequently lost control of his own body under the influence of Don Flamingo, who bears the epithet of Yaksha or demon. He then pretended to be Riki to fight for the Mera Mera no Mi. In Skypiea, NL took the title of Kami or God from Gon Fall. In Wano, Kurozumi Higurashi pretended to be Shiki and Kurozumi Orochi pretended to be Odin. Nothing should be taken at face value. What if the Gorosei themselves are pretenders? In a world that has turned upside down, I believe that the demons from the depths of hell now sit at the highest point of the world and call themselves planets or stars. Let's talk about 2 other stars, Papug and Kelly Funk. Papug was the one who first introduced the idea of the events from 800 years ago and the existence of the 20 Kings. He's also the designer for the criminal clothing brand, which has a logo that is a star with a scar. What do stars have to do with crime? Oda said himself that the Japanese word for criminal can also mean star or hoshi. The stars are criminals. Perhaps that is the true meaning of the Gorosei. Gorosei equals 5 elder criminals. Papag is also notable because he's a star who believed he was human. If we think about the Gorosei, this fits them too. Demons who are passing off as humans. Have we seen a phenomenon like this before? Let's go to a character who also has a star. Kelly Funk, the one who ate the Jake no Mi. Kelly, marked with a star on his shoulder, had his skin worn like a jacket. With the Gorosei, I believe it's the other way around. The one wearing the skin is in control. Kelly and Bobby Funk are also noteworthy because they, unlike most of the other combatants, pretend to be allies but ended up setting a trap for Luffy. The idea of skin is not isolated with the Funk brothers. Bartholomew Kuma, the trigger of the final saga, might have been inspired by Saint Bartholomew. Do you know what he's most famous for? Being skinned alive. There are even statues and paintings of him carrying his skin. The wearing of skin is actually something we've seen a few times. Garp and the Shandia chief have both been seen wearing canine heads as helmets. In short, the Gorosei are actually demons who are wearing the skin like the clothes of criminal and like the Jake no Mi of prominent world noble leaders and have been passing off as humans. Oda loves to plant messages in chapter titles. The chapter where the Gorosei were introduced was chapter 233, The World's Greatest Power. The chapter that came after that is named Please Remember. If you combine the two, you get Oda's actual message. Please remember the world's greatest power. In a world that's been turned upside down, the actual greatest powers are nowhere to be found. Or are they? If the Gorosei are not who they claim to be, then what are the actual great powers of the world? Enter Kuma and the sin of the Buccaneer race. I believe that Oda foreshadowed this in Kuma's flashback, but there were so many small and sad details that we did not notice the hints. Saturn, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Juro, Jupiter. If they're not the authority of the world, then what was? Like the ancient weapons, the Gorosei bear the names of planets which are also the names of Roman gods. That's the key here. Ancient weapons. Uranus, Poseidon, and Pluton. Their existence is shrouded in not just mysteries, but lies. Robin lied about what the poneglyph in Alabasta said. Iceberg lied about who actually has the blueprint. Shirahoshi doesn't even realize she's an ancient weapon. What if the number of ancient weapons is also a lie? I believe there were 5 more, but they've been lost, and the Gorosei took their names. Kind of like Yamato taking Odin's name. During the Void Century, the world turned upside down. I believe there were 8 ancient weapons, and they served as the authority of the world pre-Void Century. The ancient powers sat around a round table like the Reverie, and their decisions shaped the world. world. This is the same sun we've seen on the flags of Alabasta, the crest of the Kozuki clan, and even on Wagamuland in Skypiea. We also saw a representation of it in O'Hara. The sun is actually a heliocentric view of the world, with the Earth in its center surrounded by the 8 other planets/gods. Most recently, we saw this sun at the Church of the Buccaneer. Speaking of Buccaneers, there's a few things we know about them. They committed a great sin. They passed down the name of the sun god Nika. They have the blood of giants. I also believe that this is their symbol, the 4 circles that look like a paw. We see this on Kuma himself, and on the room in Egghead where Kuma's memories are found. It's also mysteriously on the ruins Jinbei found, which could have been the Buccaneer home. I think the Buccaneer race's sin is this. They hid 5 of the 8 ancient weapons. This is what the Buccaneer symbol represents. It's the same sun we've seen in Alabasta and Wano, but 5 of the 8 lights have been obscured. If you combine the Buccaneer symbol with Kuma's hand of liberation, you get the image of the sun that started it all. Oda hides things in plain sight. For example, when you combine the maps of Jaya and Skypiea, you get the skull. I believe this is what happened. During the Void Century, during the war against the enemy, there was a chance the ancient powers could have been lost forever. Instead of letting them be eradicated, the Buccaneer race hid them until the moment is right for them to awaken. Is this reminding you of something else? It should, because this is exactly what Kuma did to the Straw Hats at Sabaody. Instead of letting the crew be defeated by the Marines and Pacifista at Sabaody or by strong pirates in the New World, he hid them because he knew they were not ready yet. How might they have hidden the ancient powers? The answer is memory. If a technology similar to the punk record existed, it could remove knowledge as easily as it can share it. The Buccaneer race erased people's memories. The powers still exist, their true identity and significance have just been forgotten. We've actually seen the erasure of memory before. In Dressrosa, sugar turned people into toys. The toys were forgotten by the world. Interestingly, sugar also shares the bear motif with Kuma. But like I said, they didn't erase it completely. The idea of these powers still lives on through the Buccaneers' stories, like the ones Clapp told Kuma, who then passed it on to Bonnie. This is their form of inherited will. This brings us to Kuma's action. Some people have speculated that the punk record will be used to tell the story of the Void Century. I think that's too much. Kuma's message will be something more simple, yet equally revolutionary. Perhaps Kuma will spread the message about Nika. 2 known ancient weapons are Pluton and Poseidon. While Pluton has yet to appear in the story, it has been referred to as an ancient battleship capable of massive damage and destruction. The previous holder of the Poseidon power was a mermaid princess who lived during the Void Century. 800 years later, Princess Shirahoshi also developed this power. Is it not strange that the weapon was reborn after 800 years? Odin's words held an important message. A little more than 20 years from now, a group of powerful pirates shouldering the burden of the next era will advance into the New World. I believe the remaining 5 ancient weapons are people. It was easier for the Gorosei to steal this role. I believe these people are Trafalgar Law, aka Venus, the one who is covered in hearts, the seeker of truth, the one who wishes to answer all of life's mysteries. Oda let Law escape from Blackbeard, so his story in One Piece is not finished yet. Mercury, aka Gungnir, the spear of Elbaf, the spear that can break through any obstacle no matter how insurmountable it may seem. I expect a very important character revelation in Elbaf. Eustace Kid, aka Mars, the power to shift the magnetic fields of the world, the power to take down the tower. Mars represents wrath, aggression, and recklessness. Yes, he was defeated by Shanks, but I am sure Kid is still alive and has an important role to play in the story. Zoro, aka Saturn, the king of hell, the keeper of promises, the one with the resolve to cut through anything, even steel. The lightning-wielding Jupiter could be Enel. We are still waiting for his appearance, so the final war will be a perfect moment for it. In conclusion, the Gorosei took the names of the gods/planets from the true ancient powers. These ancient powers were hidden by the Buccaneer race to preserve them until the time is right. Now that Nika has awakened, Kuma and Nika will help bring them back to usher in a new age, but before that, we have to see the Egghead incident that will shock the world. If you want to see more about this topic, you can watch this video right here. Thanks for watching.